going to be Christie. It's either he or Rui. Look out!
James.
Oh, my word!
The betrayal no one wants to admit. There's a certain silence in betrayal, a type of quiet nobody talks about. Not the loud, dramatic kind we see in movies, but the slow kind. The kind that happens over time. The kind that shows up in decisions, in body language, in what isn't said. And right now, that's exactly what's happening between the Lakers and LeBron James. No press conference will ever admit it. No executive will dare say it out loud. But the energy speaks for itself. Because here's the truth no one wants to say. The Lakers are cheating on LeBron, not with another player, not with a dramatic trade, but with indifference, with poor planning, with silence when he needed support, with a front office that pretends to be in win-now mode, but keeps moving like it's 2028. They smile in his face, praise him in public, but behind the scenes, it's a different story. Let's open it up. Chapter 1, the false promise of win now. When LeBron came to LA in 2018, he didn't come to build. He didn't come to develop young players or sit through a rebuild. He came to win now, and the Lakers told him they were on board. They traded the youth. They built the 2020 title team. But ever since that championship in the bubble, the decisions have started to shift. Quietly, slowly, strategically. Instead of reloading, they've been managing. Instead of going all in, they've been holding back. Every season, they talk about flexibility, about the future, about waiting for the right moment. Meanwhile, LeBron is aging and still putting up historic numbers, still leading, still doing things number 39-year-old has ever done. And yet, the Lakers sit on assets. They hesitate at the trade deadline. They miss out on role players who could make a difference. They talk about protecting the 2030 draft pick more than they talk about maximizing the end of LeBron's career. This is not loyalty. This is not partnership. It's betrayal disguised as patience. And it's happening right in front of us. Chapter 2, the roster that speaks volumes. Look at the roster construction over the last few seasons. In 2021, the Lakers surrounded LeBron with aging veterans and non-shooters. A disaster. In 2022, they gave him young pieces with potential, but without the experience to win in the playoffs. In 2023, they teased the idea of balance, only to fall apart when the bench disappeared and Anthony Davis couldn't stay consistent. And every time LeBron shows up, scores 28, 30, sometimes 40 points, leads fourth quarter comebacks, breaks records, moves the needle, and yet the help, it's never quite there. The spacing, the shooting, the defensive versatility, the chemistry, it's always just almost enough. Almost enough to win. Almost enough to get out of play. Almost enough to keep LeBron from carrying the entire franchise. Again, but almost was not enough. Not for a legend. Not for someone who changed the culture of the franchise and brought a title when no one believed it was possible. And the worst part? It doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like a choice. As if the Lakers are quietly preparing for the future, for life after LeBron, while he's still here giving them everything he has left. That's not loyalty. That's abandonment. Chapter 3, writing on the wall. Watch the body language. Read between the lines of every LeBron press conference. Listen to the subtext. He knows. He knows the front office isn't fully with him anymore. He knows the support is surface level. He knows they've already started planning for the post-LeBron era instead of maximizing the present. That's the real betrayal. Not a trade, not a scandal, but the feeling of being used, of carrying the weight of the franchise, only to be slowly phased out while you're still performing at a historic level. They call him the king. They talk about gratitude. But behind closed doors, they're looking at younger stars, future picks, quiet rebuilds. And when it's all over, when LeBron finally walks away, they'll release the tribute video, the thank you post, the montage of highlights. But by then, it'll be too late. Because right now, while he's still wearing the jersey, still producing, still sacrificing, they're cheating him, not with words, but with actions. And we, the fans, we see it. And if you ask me, it's one of the greatest mistakes this franchise has ever made. Chapter 4, the AD dilemma. You can't talk about betrayal without mentioning the one person the Lakers did fully commit to, Anthony Davis. They gave him the extension. They called him the face of the future. They handed him the torch before he ever truly carried it. But here's the issue. The moment they chose AD over maximizing LeBron's final years, they made their priorities clear. And that choice, It speaks volumes. Because while Davis has the talent, the pedigree, the accolades, he doesn't have the same engine. He doesn't have the same leadership. He doesn't have the same urgency. LeBron's clock is ticking. He's fighting time. Davis, he plays like time is on his side. And the front office, they've hitched their wagon to AD's timeline, not LeBron's. That's the fundamental betrayal. They've chosen potential over production. They've chosen the hope of the future over the reality of now. Meanwhile, LeBron is still averaging near triple-doubles, still drawing double teams, still running the offense, and still being asked to fix every mistake this roster makes. But when the chips are down, who gets protected, who gets built around? Not the 39-year-old warrior who shows up every night, but the younger star they hope will one day step up. It's not just about basketball. It's about respect. And LeBron James, of all people, deserves more. Chapter 5, the silence of the front office. Sometimes, betrayal doesn't come in the form of action. Sometimes, it's the silence that hurts the most. Look at the last few trade deadlines, the last few free agency periods, the big moves that didn't happen. The Lakers could have made real upgrades. They had the assets, the flexibility, the opportunity, but they hesitated. They talked about value. They talked about not mortgaging the future. And in doing so, they sent a clear message. We're not all in anymore. Not for LeBron. Not for right now. Even after watching him drag them to the Western Conference Finals. Even after watching him break the all-time scoring record. Even after proving again and again that he's still one of the most impactful players in the league. The response from the front office? Caution, restraint, silence. Where's the urgency? Where's the commitment to greatness? Because if LeBron James can't make you push all your chips to the center of the table, who can? The front office says they respect him, but you don't show respect with words. You show it with action. And right now, the only action we see is waiting for time to run out. Chapter 6, the final years wasted. Every great career has a final chapter, but the greatest ones, they get to write on their own terms. And that's what makes this so painful to watch. LeBron isn't asking for a farewell tour. He's not asking for a statue or a ceremony. He's asking for one last real shot at the title. Not a playoff run. Not a feel-good story. A title. And the Lakers, a franchise built on chasing banners, are hesitating. This isn't about emotions. This is about legacy. About giving the greatest player of a generation the roster he deserves. About honoring everything he's done, not just applause, but with real, calculated effort to help him win. Because here's the thing. LeBron James came to Los Angeles and delivered exactly what he promised. A championship, a restored brand, global attention, and credibility. And how they repaid him? By planning for tomorrow, while asking him to carry today. By giving him role players instead of co-stars. By letting his twilight years slowly fade instead of catching fire. The betrayal isn't loud. It's subtle, but it's happening. And years from now, when we look back, we won't just remember the numbers, the records, the highlights. We'll remember that when he needed the franchise to go all in, they hesitated. We'll remember that the Lakers, of all franchises, chose caution over greatness. And we'll remember how they cheated on LeBron. Not with another star, not with another team, but with fear.